to Freshly Forever, a podcast that gives you fascinating insights week after week. Here's your host, Vi Kumar.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode on Freshly Forever. Today I have here with me Radhika Murari. She is now the CEO of OmMadepb, and with her initial career days in an IT startup and further to that, she ran numerous businesses with a focus on profitability and employee success. Radhika also ran a successful nonprofit that provided school supplies to over 500 teachers with 85,000 students in public schools all over the United States. She holds leadership positions in nonprofit organizations in her community, in addition to contributing countless volunteer hours. It's such a privilege for me to have Radhika here on Freshly Forever. Welcome, Radhika, to the show.
Thank you so much, Vi. It's nice to be here.
Okay. I just didn't say very much about OmMadepb in the intro because we are going to cover quite a bit here. And so how did this journey begin for you? You were in IT and then ran some businesses and did a lot of not-for-profit and volunteering, but why peanut butter now?
Well, my peanut butter journey began, like a lot of mothers, with my son. He's a swimmer, and when he was young, he needed high-protein, tasty foods that he could have that had very low sugar. And of course, peanut butter is one of the favorite foods of kids. But I have a strong emphasis coming from my Indian background on having natural, healthy foods. So I went to the stores. I looked for natural peanut butter. Many of them were oily and gritty, and they didn't taste very good. In fact, the first few I tried, I thought they were rancid. And then some of the ones that taste better, they have an addition of an oil that is quite controversial and is not necessarily good for the environment. So I started making my own peanut butter for my son and his friends, and they loved it.
Oh, wonderful. And so I guess it started there and it keeps going. Wonderful. So I believe you started this 8 years ago in your home, and then you went to farmers market, and then the story continues. Can you just tell us how it all began?
So I was hosting a fundraiser in January of 2017, and one of the volunteers for the fundraiser said that she was peckish, and I told her I have this homemade peanut butter with apple slices, and she's from California, where they have an emphasis on more natural foods. And as soon as she tasted it, she said it was the creamiest, tastiest peanut butter she had ever eaten. And she said, "You need to start selling this. You're sitting on a gold mine." That was the beginning of OmMade peanut butter.
Oh, that's just such a fascinating story right there. So how many flavors did you start with, and where are you at today?
Flavors that my son and his friends liked. I Dream of Creamy, which is just creamy peanut butter. Crunchy Munchy, which is creamy peanut butter with peanut pieces added to it. And Chocolate Delight, because the Chocolate Delight that I make is vegan and gluten-free, and it's very, very low in sugar. So those were the initial 3. And now I think we're up to 10 flavors, and we're going to introduce a few more early to mid 2021.
That must be exciting for you. So who wouldn't want chocolate? Who wouldn't want creamy peanut butter? And who wouldn't want the crunchy munchy when, the palate calls for it? So I certainly can imagine your excitement when you started with all of that. And yours is an artisan peanut butter. And so what is your USP, so to speak, your unique selling proposition or your differentiating aspect? Because there's so many peanut butters out there in the market. And when anyone sees it, it's sometimes overwhelming on the store shelves.
I think the first selling point is that we have the largest range of flavors, and there are flavors that are unique to us. For example, no one else has vibrant turmeric. And that's a combination of the two cultures that I'm privileged to be part of. My Indian culture, where of course turmeric is a huge part of our daily lives,
Mm-hmm.
And my American, especially my Virginian culture, where our peanuts are frankly the best in the world. So I think it's a combination of our flavors, the authenticity of our ingredients, and the fact that I'm privileged to live in an area that has the best tasting peanuts in the world.
Oh, that's great news for you right there. And I believe you have received a grant from Fairfax County where you live, and they've recognized your value as a woman entrepreneur. What's your contribution that has been valuable to your community presently with this venture?
So the grant that I received is actually a joint grant from the state of Virginia, and it's matched by a grant from Fairfax County. So both entities have to believe in your business for you to get this grant. And the reason that OmMade Peanut Butter got the grant is because we support Virginia agriculture. All of our peanuts are locally sourced Virginia peanuts. And because of COVID, things have slowed down a bit. But when we get into a commercial space in a manufacturing facility, we're really hoping to bring some high value jobs to the area and bring a little more buzz to our little neck of the woods.
Oh, that's excellent. So, as I see it, you're still making everything right from the comfort of your home. Is that right?
Yeah, my home kitchen is inspected by VDAX, which is the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. So since April of 2017, we've been certified to sell peanut butter anywhere in the world.
That's great. So, how do you plan to support upcoming women entrepreneurs as sort of a giving back to the society?
I love this question because I feel that I know that I would be nowhere without the women entrepreneurs in this area and just the women in my life supporting me. So one of the things I'm very excited about moving into a commercial space is having a space for other small businesses, hopefully women-owned businesses, to have pop-ups in our storefront so that they can expose their product to potential customers in a very cost-effective yet high-traffic area. So that's part of the grant that really excites me and makes me very happy.
Oh, that must be, a great thing to do, to be able to give visibility to others and encourage them and, help them grow is such a good thing. And I know there must have been several challenges that you faced being a woman in business. So what was it that you faced and how did this growth happen?
I feel that I should say that I faced many challenges, but I really do believe that I'm very, very lucky to be living in Virginia. Every single thing I needed from the standpoint of zoning, developing a commercial kitchen, having a product that's tested and is shelf stable, the county of Fairfax and the state of Virginia have just guided me. And all the help that I've gotten from women who have started similar ventures, I just feel that it's been, it's a lot of work, but there really haven't been that many hurdles because the community just supports us so much. So I wish I had more challenges to share with you, but that's it.
As much as I would want more stories to come out, I think it is just so nice and comforting to know that you had so much support right there. So with this being homemade and with COVID having slowed things down, I know you are transitioning to a manufacturing facility. How big is your manufacturing facility and where's your supply focus right now?
So we're hoping to have what's called a flex space, which is a manufacturing facility combined with a storefront. And we're hoping to have about 1,000 square feet of space to do both these activities. And we're really hoping to have it somewhere in the Northern Virginia area, hopefully in Reston, which is, of course, my hometown, and where I get lots of teenage workers for me.
Yeah, so you are bringing jobs in. And I know you were, the county recognized you specifically for 5 new jobs. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. So where do you see yourself, Radhika, in the next couple of years? As a business grad from Georgetown, you have succeeded in sporting several different hats in your career. What's your advice to students and business people looking to succeed? And where personally do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
Well, every business owner will say that they want exponential growth in the next couple of years. I would like to continue to be agile and nimble and seize opportunities where they come along. The interesting thing that I've realized is that your business is really an extension of your personality, and all the business decisions I make are an extension of my desire to do the right thing for my community, do the right thing for the environment. And I found more and more, especially when I go back to Georgetown and I engage with the students who are studying there now, that it's really important to start a business that you're passionate about and that really holds true to your personal values. And if you do that, you will probably find success. And that's, I'm still on the journey myself, so I don't have much more wisdom to impart.
Well, I can recognize that. You were a solopreneur and you are kind of still, transitioning to offering jobs to other people and expanding the business. How important was that transition or transformation from being a solopreneur to now the stage of being able to offer jobs? And how did it feel personally to you given 2020 and COVID?
I think working for other companies and starting up businesses for them is very different from being out on your own. And when I first started hiring people to either run farmers markets for me, train them in doing production of peanut butter, or run demos at Whole Foods for me, because this is an extension of my life and myself, it was a little bit scary. And then I soon realized that the people who are attracted to OmMade peanut butter actually do their jobs almost better than I can do them. So I think that my fear was alleviated by knowing that the people who work for OmMade are just so passionate about the peanut butter and they're so competent that I'm happy now.
So you mentioned Whole Foods. Are you nationally with them, or are you right now supplying everything within the state of Virginia? How far is the reach for OmMade peanut butter, say for any consumer or potential consumer that's listening to the show and that wants to order OmMade peanut butter?
So the Whole Foods in the DMV area, so DC, Maryland, and Virginia, carry our products. Of course, their shelf space is limited. So some of them will carry 5 products. Some of them will carry only a couple flavors. However, we have sent OmMade peanut butter to 44 states and the District of Columbia. So the best way to get the full range of our products, which I think there are 15 or 20 different products on the website, is really to go online and order it, and we'll ship it. And if you want to know the states that we're lacking, go on our Instagram. And anyone who sends the first order to their states always gets a little bonus in their order.
Oh, that's fantastic. Being a newbie in anything, matters. And there have been so many COVID storylines, and most of it has been survival strategies. Did you find yourself in that situation?
Earlier this summer, when COVID really had showed us what our economy was going to be like, I was listening to a podcast called How I Built This, and Danny Meyer from Shake Shack was on it. And I think, and don't quote me on the statistic, but he said some businesses in the food industry have suffered as much as an 80% loss in their revenue. And of course, OmMade peanut butter had the same decline in revenue, especially in the stores themselves, because people were not able to try our peanut butter. But then, interestingly enough, I saw a huge shift to online selling, and we have broken every record for online sales that we had set from the beginning. And so our online sales have gone up exponentially, especially from people who've been customers sending our peanut butter to family and friends who they haven't seen for a while. And some of the notes that they send are really comforting. They'll say, we know it's been a rough year. This is going to make you happy. Or this is the best peanut butter in the world. It's going to put a smile on your face. Or here's some peanut butter. It'll get you through the elections. So it's been really, really nice. I mean, just really uplifting to see people sending something they love to their family and friends that they probably won't see for another few months.
So companies definitely are trending in different directions, trying to revisit their strategies with COVID and post-COVID. And probably we are going to see many emerge with new products, services, markets, because a lot of them had to make masks and sanitizers and instead of T-shirts and whatnot. So is your online marketing and is your online shop and selling as part of something that you would categorize here as a new strategy with COVID?
I think I definitely would. Previously, as with many food companies, the focus was to get into more and more retailers. But if you think about the profitability angle, it's much more profitable and much more one-on-one to engage with your consumers online, because you can engage with them through email marketing. If they have a question, you're right there to answer it. Within minutes, you can send them a response.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, a lot of my customers are now my friends.
Oh, why not? I think digital marketing has paved the way for all of that, hasn't it?
Well, it just helps you talk to people rather than just keep selling them your product. It helps you build connections with people all over the country, which is just beautiful.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Back in a moment with our guest on Freshly Forever. So if there was one moment, Radhika, you could rewrite in this journey, of course, you have had a delightful journey, but if there was one moment that you could rewrite, what would that be? And what would you also highlight as one major factor for your success?
I have to be honest, in the beginning, when I was rolling out new flavors, or I think Chai Nirvana was the fourth flavor that I rolled out, I was so hell-bent on making everything ultra healthy that I didn't put any cane sugar in it whatsoever. So it was just the chai spices without any of the sweetness that we have when we normally drink chai. And so I think that, compromising a little bit and saying a few grams of sugar is okay, rather than saying absolutely no sugar anywhere. So that was, it was interesting to try to sell that in the beginning, but because we were just in farmers markets, it was easy to make that shift in the mindset, and then, start introducing very, very little quantities of sugar, but just enough. So that was an interesting bit of learning. And I think the one thing that has really propelled us and given us quite a bit of credibility is Whole Foods taking a chance on us. And again, I'll come back to my customers. It turns out Whole Foods was not going to introduce any nut butters in the year that they introduced us. And when I became friendly with the Whole Foods decision makers, they said that basically my customers started going to the local Whole Foods and saying, why don't you carry this on your shelves? So that was, and being in Whole Foods, you have to go through so much certification and so many steps in the confirmation process that it really gives you a stamp of credibility.
So I guess, again, the bottom line there is how you establish with your customers and the rapport that you share. All that is what has helped them, or rather helped you in them going to the Whole Foods store manager or whomever to try and sort of canvas for you and make your product more visible. And that's a fantastic thing. And as far as your learning with the addition of the cane sugar, and so I guess that was a balancing act. So I think the message there is, try to balance what you do for the benefit of the customer again. That's a good thing to say, good thing to highlight here. So how can small businesses thrive in this pandemic-driven world? I guess now that vaccines are here, we are just starting to probably see a different phase, hopefully, but they are also talking about a new strain emerging. But I guess now is the time for everyone to wake up and be prepared for, say, any eventuality. I hope nothing arises in the future, but what will small businesses need to do to thrive? And how did your association with Cultivate help you?
Well, We Cultivate is a really good venture. I've always supported giving back in both volunteer activities and economically to the communities we live in. So I really appreciate people highlighting companies that are that have made in America products, because we pay a good wage to our fellow citizens and residents, and that's extremely important to lift us all up. So We Cultivate is just a great venture, and more of us need to support our own country. Of course, support the world as well, but support our farmers and our producers. As for advice for small businesses, I'm always open to advice because I'm quite a small business myself. But what we're doing for OmMade is we're just still trying to stay nimble, keep our costs as low as they can be, so that we can really stay afloat and be around when the world starts returning to a more normal place. And, personally, my motto is just a few more months, just stay safe, batten down the hatches for a few more months until things have settled down a bit. We've done it for 9 months now. We can do it for a few months more.
Oh, yeah, perseverance. Resilience is a huge word that we have all learned in 2020. And so I guess is building a community the key to growing a small business? Like, I guess that seems to resonate so well in your case. So is that something that businesses should focus on, especially small businesses, solopreneurs and such?
I think there's a difference between building a community for the sake of getting something out of it and building a community because you recognize you all live interconnected. So I think the latter is just a way that different people decide to live. And I think that when you build the community you live in, you may never need their help. But then after 20, or in my case, 30 years of living in this same community, when I did start a business, people came out of the woodwork to now support me. Like I've been supporting my community. So I think it's much more just you do what you can for your community as and when you can do it. And then maybe when you find that you're in a position to take some help, people will come out and help you. So I think it's much more just how you live your life and what you want to contribute to where you live.
Absolutely. And again, the encouragement comes back. The quality of the product lies in the hands of the business owner. So what we deliver matters, certainly. As a takeaway for listeners.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you there. I don't think my friends are happy that I make this peanut butter because they're eating way more peanut butter than they ever thought they would.
Well, it's a good thing. They're enjoying you more and more in a different form. So that's perfect. That suits the forum. So as a takeaway for listeners, anything or anyone to emulate that you'd say?
Well, that's a good question. I feel like right now we have, especially for women of color in America and immigrants like myself, we have an embarrassment of riches. Of course, top on my list is Kamala Harris because her parents were immigrants. She's a woman of color who has a career in a male-dominated industry. So right now it's her.
Okay. And how can listeners get connected with your product? You want to give out some website information, your social media or anything? That way they'll know where to find OmMadepb.
Yeah, it's all of my my website, all of my social handles. They're all OmMadepb. And I tell people OmMade rhymes with homemade. So OmMadepb.com.
Fantastic. It was such a pleasure having this conversation with you, and I certainly look forward to enjoying more and more of that peanut butter. And I'm sure many of our listeners would not just enjoy your peanut butter, but at the same time derive such an inspiration. What started as, a need for your son to be well fed has now become um, a very common thing in several households. And I definitely look forward to having more conversations with you in the future and wish you the very best in your journey. And we just hope to see homemade PB in our own Whole Foods and several other stores here. Thank you so much for joining me here on Fresh Leaf Forever today, Radhika.
Thank you so much, Mai. This was tons of fun.
Fantastic. Before I sign off, folks, I'd like to remind you to keep that feedback coming. I'm just so thrilled to see those every single time. And be sure to rate the podcast and follow the podcast at Fresh Leaf Forever on Instagram, at Fresh Leaf Forever1 on Twitter. The Facebook page is Fresh Leaf Forever, and the website is www.freshleafforever.com, and that's one word. I'll see you back again next week with another interesting guest and another interesting topic. Until then, it's Vi saying bye-bye for now.